Hey there, cats and kittens. Mike Coughlin here for 5 Star Radio. And hello, everybody. I'm Mike Coughlin, as you just heard, and we're going to be doing a very, very special edition of 5 Star Radio right here at Figure4Online.com. Now, not only is this going to be one of our most popular features here at 5 Star Radio, it will be, in fact, a mailbag segment. We've got the questions all printed out right here. We're going old school. We're going Meltzer on everybody by printing out our questions. Not only is this bad boy going to be a mailbag show, not only, as many of you may be able to tell, is this going to be a free show. Yes, indeed, folks, it is not just mailbag radio. It is free star radio. But my friends, you're looking at me right now, if you're looking at this on YouTube, and you're seeing my beautiful face. Yes, folks, we are doing the first ever, I believe the first ever in F4W, Figure4Online.com history. I believe this is the first ever simulcast. Let me button up my check here. Let's look professional. Yes, folks, a first ever simulcast. We don't need this buttoned up. We are doing this live to videotape, so you can actually watch my beautiful mug in 10-minute increments on YouTube. Now, there will be a link and all that jazz. Obviously, if you're watching this, you've already figured out how to find this. And if you're listening to this, well, just go to the Figure4Online.com. The main page, there will be instructions on how to get this. As you can see, if you're watching this, we have a beautiful, beautiful banner that we spent upwards of 45 minutes. 45 minutes, folks. 45 minutes. 4 or 5, whatever, minutes on this bad boy. Look, it says F4WOnline.com. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars on this bad boy, and it even says 5-star radio right there underneath. Yes, this was done at blockposters.com. It's a giant piece of shit. It's hanging from the ceiling in Casa de 5-Star Radio. It will inevitably fall down during the course of this show. This is low rent. Mostly you're just getting the simulcast. I'm just going to be doing the normal radio show. You can watch this on YouTube if you want. It's just a little something extra. We're just trying to reach out and touch our listeners in a whole new way. So I hope if you're watching this on YouTube, if you just stumbled upon this jackass in a really nice sports coat with a world-class banner behind him and a really nice microphone. I mean, it's a nice microphone, folks. If you're stumbled upon this, I hope that you'll go to Figure4Online.com and give it a shot. If you're listening for free, please go to Figure4Online.com and, subscribe. $10 a month, you're going to get this. You're going to get Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez. You're going to get so much MMA goodness, you can't even believe it. But for right now, what I'm going to be doing is, again, like I said, one of our most popular features, mailbag time. I'm looking at the microphone like that's some sort of a camera. My goal is not to actually acknowledge the camera too much during the course of the show. To me, you're just getting an insight. It's kind of like when you watch, I don't know, Rush Limbaugh or Glenn Beck or I don't really know too many radio hosts besides it. ESPN does this all the time, although they actually play to the camera. But a lot of times you'll see radio hosts with a little webcam dealy bob, and this is in fact a webcam we're using, recording themselves. You're getting a different glimpse at what we do here at the 5-Star Radio program. But we will be answering as many questions as we get through in an hour. We got 60 minutes, which is 6 segments up on YouTube. We're already 4 minutes into this year's show, so we should probably get started with some questions. All of these questions are from dreaded members of the board. Oh yes, the board. If you ever have any questions you want to send in, just go to Michael Coughlin at F4WOnline.com or 5starradio8 at AOL.com. One of those emails that gets me eventually. Somewhere, you can always find out what you want to find out. I am standing for this entire broadcast, which sucks because my back hurts. But we all sacrifice for our art. This is art. So then, we should just get right into the question. We got some fantastic questions from some fantastic men. And we will start off with a question from West Destiny, who writes in and asks, early thoughts on Tyrone Woodley and his potential. Tyrone Woodley, been a bit of a buzz lately with this young gentleman of African American descent. He fought on a recent Strikeforce show, kind of with our little Challenger series, or a little few stars of the future type of jazz, and showed just incredible athleticism. Beat Was it Zach Light, I believe he fought? Training partner of Quentin Jackson, formerly of the in the UFC, Wolf Slayer dude, blah 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 blah. Kind of goofy looking, weird traps and all that. A really good wrestler in and of himself in his own right is Mr. Light there. And Tyrone Woodley though showed that next generation athleticism that we're seeing crop up in MMA more and more. You know, the Anthony Johnsons, the Brock Lesnar's, the George St. Pierre's. You know, these guys with just truly elite level athletes. And Tyrone Woodley, at least in that fight, showed a lot of that fast twitch muscle you like to see. I mean, he was quick, powerful, athletic. He seemed to understand the game. His striking looked good. His wrestling, some of his shots were amongst the fastest shots I've seen in MMA in quite some time. He put Zach Light, no slouch as far as wrestling is concerned, on his ass time and time again. His submissions look good. I was impressed with Tyrone Woodley. He's really the first guy at 170 to come along in some time that you looked at and you go, where did this guy come from? Who is he? And how soon can he get into the UFC so he can take on some of the real bad boys out there? I mean, he looks like an absolute future star at 170 pounds. That's really saying a lot because it's 170 pounds. There's a lot of dudes at that weight that are quality. And, maybe someday in the future, Mr. George St. Pierre will in fact be having his first black challenger. George St. Pierre has beaten up Americans and, Brazilians and strikers and grapplers and New Yorkers and men from Illinois and all kinds of dudes. But he hasn't been up a black man yet. Not defending his title, unless I'm missing one off the top of my head, which I really hope that I'm not. But, yes, thank you, Mr. West Destiny, for sending in that question. Tyrone Woodley, big fan of his already. And again, I've only seen him fight 1 or 2 times or whatever. But it looks like he's got something going for him. He doesn't look like your typical... a lot of times you see these guys make it up, and they're good fighters, they're solid, and you just look at him and you go, he doesn't have that intangible, that specialness about him that will really carry him to the next level. Tyrone Woodley seems to possess that extra special flair, if you will, that you need in order to compete at the highest levels in the sport. And it's something I think will be absolutely essential because everybody's going to be skilled as hell in the future, and it will come down to just who has that next gear you can kick things into. I think that Mr. Tyrone Woodley has it. We then have a question from TNM, like Mr. Oliver Kopp, of course, asking, what's your opinion on the upcoming Marcus Davis-Mike Swick fight? Swick is a lot more collected than Marcus Davis, for instance. He won't be mind-fucked as easily. What a foul-mouthed German he turned out to be. Do you think Hardy will find a way to get under Swick's skin? As far as the fight itself, I know it's kind of a rumored number one contendership for Mr. George St. Pierre. Dan Hardy, I think, is one of these guys who has got a bigger name with the European crowd than he does here in the States. And as such, I think a lot of Europeans just tremendously overrate just how much Dan Hardy means here in the States. Dan Hardy means nothing. He's the guy that kind of beat Marcus Davis, and if anybody remembers, had the big knockout of Rory Markham. But other than that, it's not like Dan Hardy is a superstar. He does have a lot of charisma. He's got an exciting style. And I think the guy could be something someday, sometime, as far as if he can connect with the U.S. audience. I don't think he's really been given the chance. The fight against Swick will easily be the highest profile fight of his career. He has a chance to look good. As far as, playing the mind games and stuff like that, it was kind of embarrassing how really easily Marcus Davis got conned into that verbal jousting, if you will. He really got baited into the war of words. And it seemed to get under his skin and affected how he fought. You saw a Marcus Davis when he fought Dan Hardy. That was a Marcus Davis who was fighting not to lose. He was scared to lose to Hardy because he hated him so much that the idea of losing to Hardy would be embarrassing to Marcus Davis. And as such, he just kind of fought a more composed, a more conservative fight than we typically see out of Marcus Davis. I think that's a lot of the reason why he lost to Dan Hardy. Taking nothing away from Hardy, who I think is, a quality talent. Somebody who I think probably would have beat Marcus Davis no matter what Marcus Davis was at. But as far as Mike Swick is concerned, Swick beat Davis pretty easily. Hardy was 50-50 with Davis. Not playing MMA math here or anything like that. But, I don't think Swick, like Oliver said, I don't think he's going to get baited into this, into the bullshit. I don't think he'll play those games as much. Swick gets it. He's been in the UFC pretty much about as long as anybody. He was an original Ultimate Fighter cast member. He's shown himself to be